Have you ever noticed your dog wagging its tail and wondered what it really means? Is it always happiness, or is your dog trying to tell you something more complex? Dogs have lived alongside humans for thousands of years, and yet, some of their most common behaviors remain misunderstood. Tail wagging is one of those behaviors that almost every dog owner thinks they understand. We assume it means joy, excitement, or friendliness. But scientists and animal behavior experts have discovered that a wagging tail is actually a sophisticated form of communication. It's a language made of speed, direction, and body signals. And once you understand it, you begin to see your dog in a completely different way. Because that simple wag is not so simple after all. When most people see a dog wagging its tail, they immediately think the dog is happy. And sometimes that is true, but the real reason might surprise you. A wagging tail does not always mean happiness. It means emotional arousal. This could be excitement, anxiety, curiosity, or even tension. Research not whether that feeling is positive or negative. For example, a dog greeting its owner after a long day may wag its tail widely and loosely, showing joy. But a dog facing something unfamiliar might also wag its tail. Although the movement will look stiffer and more controlled, most dog owners never notice this difference. And once you do, it changes how you read your dog completely. But there's something even more fascinating hidden in the way dogs wag their tails. Scientists discovered something fascinating about direction. Dogs tend to wag their tails more to the right side when they feel positive emotions, like seeing their owner, and they wag more to the left when they feel uncertain or stressed. This is linked to how the brain works, where different sides control different emotional responses. In real life, you might notice your dog wagging more strongly on one side when greeting you, compared to when they hear a strange noise outside. It's subtle, but it's real, that it shows that dogs are not just reacting. They are processing emotions in a complex way. So the next time your dog wags its tail, look closely, because it might be telling you more than you think. Now let's talk about speed and shape. Not all tail wags are the same. A fast, wide wag often means excitement and friendliness. This is the classic happy dog wag most people recognize. But a slow wag can mean uncertainty, and a very stiff, high wag may signal alertness or even a warning. For example, when a dog meets another dog for the first time, the wag is often slower and more controlled. The dog is gathering information, not celebrating. On the other hand, when you grab a leash and your dog starts wagging wildly, that's pure excitement. The difference lies in the rhythm and energy of the movement, and once you notice these patterns, you begin to understand your dog's emotional state almost instantly. But the tail doesn't work alone. It is part of a much larger communication system dogs use their entire body to express how they feel. A wagging tail combined with relaxed ears, soft eyes, and a loose posture usually means the dog is comfortable and friendly. But a wagging tail with a stiff body, raised fur, or intense staring can mean something very different. It could signal tension or even aggression. This is where many misunderstandings happen. People see the wag and assume the dog is safe to approach their rest. The body is saying something else entirely. Veterinary behaviorists emphasize that you should always read the full body language, not just the tail, because the tail is only one part of the message. Now, here's where things get even more interesting. Dogs don't just wag their tails to express emotions. They also use tail wagging to communicate with others, including humans. In studies observing dog interactions, researchers found that dogs respond differently depending on how another dog wags its tail. A right-sided wag tends to relax other dogs. A left-sided wag can make them more cautious. This means tail wagging is not just expression. It's communication that others can understand. And your dog uses this same system with you. When your dog wags its tail as you walk in, it's not just reacting. It's communicating recognition, excitement, and connection. It's one of the many ways dogs maintain their bond with humans. Have you ever noticed your dog wagging its tail, even when jewelry, not directly interacting with it? Maybe when it hears your voice, or even when it just senses your presence. This is because dogs are highly social animals. Their brains are wired to respond to human cues. Studies have shown that dogs can recognize human emotions, voices, and even subtle changes in tone. Tail wagging is one of the ways they respond to these signals. For example, a dog might start wagging its tail when it hears a happy tone in your voice, even before it sees you. This shows how deeply connected dogs are to humans, and it explains why tail wagging often feels like an emotional response to us. Because in many ways, it is. But here comes a surprising fact that many people don't expect. Dogs do not wag their tails when they are alone. At least, not in the same way. Tail wagging is strongly linked to social interaction. It is a behavior designed for communication. When a dog is by itself, the need to communicate disappears, and so does most of the wagging. This reveals something powerful about dogs. Their behavior is not just instinct, it is shaped by relationships, especially their relationship with humans. Which means every time your dog wags its tail at you, it is not just a reaction, it is a form of connection. So what does all of this really mean for you? As a dog owner, it means your dog has been communicating with you all along. In a language you may not have fully understood, that simple wag is actually a combination of emotion, intention, and social bonding. It tells you how your dog feels, what it senses, and how it responds to the world around it. And the more you pay attention, the clearer that message becomes. Dogs are not just loyal companions. They are intelligent, emotionally aware beings who constantly interact with us. In subtle ways. Now think about your own dog. Does it wag its tail differently when it sees you compared to when it hears a stranger? Have you ever noticed the speed, the direction, or the posture of its body? Most dog owners never notice this, but once you do, you can't unsee it. If you've observed something unique about your dog's tail wagging, share it in the comments. Because every dog has its own personality, and every wag tells a different story.